The story starts with Brooklyn Morgan, a Latina makeup artist, who moved from San Luis Potosí, Mexico, to Los Angeles. After a long and tiring night, working backstage at a fashion show, Brooklyn is eager to return to her hometown. She's especially looking forward to reuniting with her best friend, Jessica, and her younger brother, Andres. Jessica is excited about Brooklyn's visit as well, because she is competing in the Miss Baja California beauty pageant and appreciates Brooklyn's emotional support during the event. Later that evening, Brooklyn and Jessica decide to visit a bar, hoping to meet the local police chief, Kiso, who is rumored to be financially backing the beauty pageant. The atmosphere is tense, and there are whispers that spending time with the pageant judges may improve contestants' chances of winning. As Brooklyn heads to the restroom, a violent turn of events begins to unfold. A group of armed men enters the bar through the vents, with a clear intent to kill Kiso. Brooklyn hides in the restroom as the gunfire begins, but Kiso finds her and assumes she is involved with the attackers. He prepares to kill her, but just as he is about to pull the trigger, the leader of the attackers intervenes, saving Brooklyn's life. Seizing the moment, Brooklyn escapes the bar in a panic, desperately searching for Jessica in the midst of the chaos. Shots continue to ring out, and as the crowd surges, Brooklyn loses sight of Jessica. She sees injured people being treated by medics and bodies being carried away, but there is no sign of her friend. Shaken by the violence, Brooklyn tries to reach out to the police, hoping they can help her find Jessica. However, instead of receiving the assistance she expected, the police redirect her to a nearby diner. Still worried about Jessica's whereabouts, Brooklyn tries calling her friend multiple times, but all her calls go unanswered. When she contacts local hospitals, she is told that Jessica is not listed among the injured or dead. As the morning approaches and the crowd at the bar thins, a police officer approaches Brooklyn. At first, he is dismissive of her concerns, but Brooklyn insists on being taken seriously. After some hesitation, the officer agrees to take Brooklyn to the police station to file a report. Just as they are about to leave, Brooklyn senses something is wrong and realizes that the officer is actually working with the gang responsible for the attack. Before she can react, she is abducted and taken to the gang's hideout. At the hideout, Brooklyn is introduced to Leno, the gang's leader. To her surprise, Leno is the same man who saved her from being executed by Kiso the previous night. Brooklyn quickly explains that she is just a regular person looking for her missing friend, Jessica, but Leno remains suspicious of her. He suspects she might be working undercover for the CIA, trying to infiltrate the cartel. To confirm her identity, Leno checks her background and discovers that she is indeed American. Instead of killing her, the cartel decides to use her for their illegal smuggling operations. Leno offers Brooklyn a deal. If she helps the cartel, they will help her find Jessica. Reluctantly, Brooklyn agrees, knowing she has little choice if she wants to survive. Her first task is to drive a car filled with money to a specified location. Although she is hesitant to get involved in the cartel's activities, Brooklyn realizes that refusing could be dangerous. As she completes the task, she is horrified to learn that the car is rigged with explosives, which detonate after she leaves the scene. The blast kills several people, leaving Brooklyn shocked and guilty over her role in the deadly act. Meanwhile, Leno orders his right-hand man, Paolo, to search for Jessica, while Brooklyn is forced to register for the Miss Baja California pageant. Although she is apprehensive about competing, Brooklyn realizes that staying close to the competition may give her the best chance to find Jessica. Under close surveillance, Brooklyn participates in the pageant, but uses every opportunity to search for an escape route. During one such moment, Brooklyn manages to sneak away to the bathroom and spots an open window. Seeing a chance to escape, she climbs out and runs. As she makes her way through the streets, she encounters an American man who offers to help her. However, things take a turn for the worse when the man reveals that he is a CIA agent named Brian. He kidnaps Brooklyn and takes her to an interrogation room, where he informs her that her proximity to the car explosion has made her a suspect in the cartel's operations. Brooklyn insists that she was forced to help the cartel, but Brian is skeptical. He tells her that the CIA has been working to capture Leno and his gang for some time, and that her involvement could be a valuable asset to their mission. Reluctantly, Brian releases Brooklyn, but warns her that she will be closely monitored. Brooklyn returns to Jessica's house to check on her brother, Andres, who is growing increasingly worried about his sister's disappearance. Just as Brooklyn and Andres prepare to leave the house, Leno and his crew arrive. They take control of the house and use it as a temporary hideout, further tightening their grip on Brooklyn's life. Leno gives Brooklyn a phone embedded with a tracking chip, allowing him to monitor her movements. His control over her becomes more oppressive, and one night, he enters her room and begins to test her boundaries. He orders her to undress him, but Brooklyn resists. Tension builds until Paulo intervenes, stopping Leno before things escalate further. Brooklyn's next task is to transport a large amount of cash taped to her body across the US-Mexico border to San Diego. Once again, she feels conflicted, but knows that refusing could put her in grave danger. With a calm demeanor, Brooklyn passes through customs and successfully completes the mission. In San Diego, she meets Jimmy, an arms dealer and mobster who works closely with Leno's cartel. Jimmy takes the cash and instructs Brooklyn on her next assignment: deliver a shipment of weapons to the cartel's business partner. As Brooklyn becomes more deeply entangled in the cartel's operations, she remains determined to find Jessica. She informs Brian of an upcoming cartel meeting, hoping the CIA will use the opportunity to arrest Leno and rescue her. However, when the meeting turns into a violent shootout between the cartel and law enforcement, Brooklyn realizes that Brian has betrayed her. Trapped in the middle of the firefight, she narrowly escapes with Leno, solidifying her role in the cartel's activities. Back at the hideout, Paulo grows increasingly suspicious of Brooklyn, accusing her of tipping off the authorities. Leno, however, is hesitant to believe Paulo, as Brooklyn had saved him during the shootout. Tensions rise when the gang discovers a tracking chip on one of their phones. To prove her loyalty, Brooklyn discreetly plants the tracking chip in another phone, hoping to divert suspicion away from herself. The following morning, Leno wakes Brooklyn and begins teaching her how to handle a pistol. To his surprise, Brooklyn quickly masters the weapon, impressing him with her proficiency. He takes her to meet his family, and they spend a pleasant day together, revealing a softer side of Leno. During their time together, Brooklyn learns that Leno dreams of leaving the criminal life behind and moving to the countryside for a peaceful existence. However, their return to the hideout is anything but peaceful. The cartel members discover that the tracking chip Brooklyn planted is in Isabella's phone. Leno coldly executes Isabella, shocking and horrifying Brooklyn. She vomits after witnessing Isabella's death, deeply disturbed by the brutality of the cartel. The next morning, Brooklyn finds herself emotionally drained and overwhelmed by the violence surrounding her. To make matters worse, Leno shows Brooklyn a video of Jessica, revealing that she has been captured by corrupt police officers involved in human trafficking. Jessica has been forced into prostitution, and her situation is dire. Leno offers to help rescue Jessica, but only if Brooklyn cooperates with his plan to eliminate Quesada, the head police officer. That night, Brooklyn arrives at the beauty pageant, where Leno's influence over the event becomes increasingly clear. Determined to save her friend, Brooklyn agrees to identify Quesada at the after-party in exchange for Jessica's safety. After winning the pageant, thanks to the rigged results, Brooklyn is invited to Quesada's after-party, where she plans to carry out Leno's mission. At the party, Brooklyn makes a grand entrance and approaches Quesada with a flirtatious demeanor. As she waits for her chance to act, she spots Jessica among the crowd. The two friends finally reunite, but time is running out. Jessica reveals that she has been branded with the cartel's tattoo and recounts the horrors she has endured. Brooklyn realizes that Leno has been using Jessica as a pawn, knowing her location all along, but exploiting her for his own gain. Determined to put an end to the manipulation, Brooklyn warns Quesada about Leno's plan to kill him. However, before she can escape, Quesada's bodyguards ambush her, leading to a violent gunfight. Brooklyn hides under a bed, and when Leno's men arrive to carry out the assassination, they are caught in the crossfire. In the chaos, Brooklyn manages to grab an assault weapon and fight her way out. As she and Jessica try to escape, Quesada captures Jessica and uses her as a human shield. Seizing the opportunity, Brooklyn shoots Quesada in the leg, freeing Jessica. Leno approaches, but Brooklyn turns the gun on him, accusing him of deceit and manipulation. Leno tries to justify his actions, claiming that everything he did was necessary for their survival. However, Brooklyn is not swayed by his words. Fueled by anger and betrayal, she shoots Leno, killing him along with the remaining members of his gang. As the dust settles, the police finally arrive at the scene. Brooklyn is shocked to discover that Jimmy, the arms dealer she had worked with earlier, was actually an undercover CIA agent all along. He had been working covertly to bring down the cartel. As Brooklyn is taken into custody for questioning, Jimmy sees her potential value to the CIA due to her survival instincts and her experience navigating the cartel's operations. In the final scene, Brooklyn and Jessica are reunited with Andres. Brooklyn agrees to cooperate with the authorities, striking a deal that allows for the dismissal of all charges against both her and Jessica. In exchange, Brooklyn agrees to help the police dismantle the remnants of Leno's cartel. Although forever changed by her harrowing experiences, Brooklyn emerges from the ordeal as a stronger and more determined person, ready to reclaim her life and protect her family. End the movie. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other recaps and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.